All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading up to the return for the second part of The Walking Dead Season 11. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on whether or not we think things are shaping up in The Walking Dead for us to see a Walking Dead CRM versus Commonwealth war. Alright, dudes, so this is one topic that came up during the live stream that we did last Sunday night for Walking Dead, and now it is Sunday, a week later, so I decided, why don't we lead with this topic for today's video coming up for The Walking Dead, and I hope you guys are getting geared up for the holidays, a holiday week coming up this week, so that's going to be, so Merry Christmas to all of you guys. If I don't catch you before then, likely will, and we might do some streams in and around Christmas time. Maybe one tonight. I'm not sure, though. We'll have to see. So, topic for this one, Walking Dead, possible world war. Now, we should probably say first that most likely it'll be a war in the United States between the Commonwealth and the CRM. So with how we're seeing this kind of shape up for Walking Dead. So here's basically the rundown of what we're seeing shape up. In the Walking Dead television series, we're seeing its final season. We're seeing the second part, and then the third part will finish things off in 2022 for the Walking Dead television series with the Commonwealth. So likely what we'll see is we will see Daryl and the gang basically finish up the story arc with the Reapers, I think. That doesn't even feel like it's going to take probably that long. I think we'll probably see that in the second part of the season. I would be surprised if we actually got to see the Reapers in the last part, unless like Leah like joins with Daryl and the others or something like this. So unless the Reapers join them, I expect to see them kind of taken out in the second part, especially after what happened with Pope in The Walking Dead Season 11. So you have that stuff happening in The Walking Dead TV series with the Reapers, the Commonwealth being introduced. So the Commonwealth introduction is taken a little bit in The Walking Dead television series. They started introducing them actually back in the Whisperer timeline, right? So you had the Whisperer time, you had Eugene on the radio talking with Stephanie at the Commonwealth, and then we had kind of the stoppages for the TV series and real life and everything with the lockdowns and whatnot. And then we had the bonus episodes where we got to see some with Princess and the others. Kind of meeting Ezekiel, Eugene meeting the people of the Commonwealth, and then in the first part of The Walking Dead Season 11, we get to meet them. So it's, it's cool. You get to see their like white, soldier uniforms and everything. They look like some kind of stormtroopers or something, which is pretty sweet. And so we're just kind of getting to know them. In terms of number, I forget exactly what they said their numbers were in the TV series, but it's definitely in the tens of thousands so far as I know. For the Commonwealth, I believe, and then the CRM was like 100,000 plus, I think. Now, a couple of the CRM's communities have been destroyed, but the CRM likely has other communities and other positions as well. One theory that's kind of interesting, since we're seeing in World Beyond the kind of France, scene and overseas type of scenes and such, is whether or not Rick could even be overseas in a different country, may not necessarily be in the U.S., and whether or not the CRM spans different countries. So whether or not the CRM is only local to the United States, but it doesn't seem like it. If you look at Elizabeth and the others that are there, and you question, does this seem like a local, military outfit to just the United States? Or does this seem like something with their helicopters and such that likely stretches its tentacles into other countries? And then also you have the soldiers' uniforms, the CRM being like all decked out in black. So classic, good guy, bad guy type of thing. The CRM being this huge overarching group that are evil, and the Commonwealth being this big, group Maybe not at the same level as the CRM, but and they seem to be mostly good. Now they do have Pamela, they do have Lance, so they have, and Mercer. The Commonwealth has their own characters and have their own kind of issues and problems they work with. But I think definitely we can say that they're definitely better than the CRM so far. So we do see things for Walking Dead starting to kind of get over the seasons as things go by, you're getting bigger and bigger groups, right? If you go to the earlier on in the series with Rick and Daryl and the gang, you just had like a dozen or two type of thing. At the prison, a couple dozen people. They meet Woodbury. Woodbury's like what? Not 100 people so far as I know. I think it was like, I don't know what, maybe somewhere between 50 to 100 or something like this. I forget if they said an exact kind of number of how many people lived in Woodbury. But as the seasons go on, Alexandria, and then past that, you just see the groups get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we are seeing these huge, colossal groups like the CRM and like the Commonwealth, where you're not talking about just 100 people like you would have with the Saviors or something, or up to like 200 people with a few smaller communities. You're seeing these huge mega communities with the CRM being huge, Commonwealth being absolutely huge, which I think, what was it, like 10,000 or something like that? I forget exactly. You guys can remind me in the comments below. How many members does the Commonwealth have? I think they did say a number in the TV series. I'm not sure if it was the same from the comic, but yeah, we go from like, dozens of people to hundreds to thousands and, tens of thousands here, or possibly even hundreds of thousands with the CRM, if it stretches to other locations and other places that are covert, so we don't find out about them in the TV series. So it does feel like we're kind of seeing a setup here for some sort of a Walking Dead World War type of scenario, which could be really cool and probably would be best handled in a movie fashion. So is it possible that this was kind of the long-running plan here? Is that unlike in the Walking Dead comic book series where you only had the Commonwealth, there was no CRM in the Walking Dead comic book series, but for the TV series universe, I think it's really smart that they brought in an antagonistic group that's so big and so huge as well, rather than in the comic where you just had the Commonwealth. You didn't have like a CRM antagonist, massive group to go along with it, so it basically kind of ended off the Walking Dead comics in that, spoiler warning, in that when, Rick and everybody else, Carl and the others, no Daryl in the comic book series version, when they join the Commonwealth and eventually sort out the issues that are to be sorted out there, that's basically it for the comic. That's like the ending, because it's a huge group and they're good, and so they can join in with the group, and you basically have peace in The Walking Dead, and you have the wrapping up of the series. Now, for the TV series version, you do have that element as well with the Commonwealth, but they've also given you the opposite of that, with the CRM kind of being the opposite of them, this huge, all-encompassing group with the helicopters that are set up earlier and everything, Rick leaving, and then us likely getting to see Rick in the movies. We know the CRM took him. So yeah, it really seems like this is what they're kind of setting up for. So was it always sort of intended that the Walking Dead TV series was going to end with the Commonwealth being introduced and everything like this happening with Daryl and the others, and then this series would end, and you would see the what's happening after that in the movies. So if you're going to see a Walking Dead World War, it's going to be on the movie scale, and you're going to get to see something like that. Is this kind of what they sort of had in mind? Because maybe they knew that doing a Walking Dead World War would be, like a huge war. Maybe we shouldn't say a world war, but a giant war with hundreds of thousands of survivors in each group, or at least tens of thousands in each group, which is just a way bigger landscape. Did they feel like maybe that fits better with a movie trilogy? And so that's why he said they were going to do a movie trilogy and kind of set up these set pieces ahead of time. It does feel like we are seeing a move towards, with The Walking Dead, of this, these huge groups, these mega groups, CRM, Commonwealth, and we do know from the comics that if they end off the TV series in a similar way, it will basically end off with, spoiler warning again, if they do the same thing as the comics, likely Daryl and the rest of the group eventually merging and joining into the Commonwealth. So if you have that wrapping up and that ending, Could we see kind of some inklings of Rick? And have they not started filming the Rick movie because the TV series is still on? So is it the type of situation where you wouldn't do the TV series at the same time as the Rick movies, because those characters will end up in the Rick movies? Like maybe we see, Daryl, Carol, and the others fighting for the Commonwealth with Rick, and so they may appear in the movies as part of that, or the Commonwealth maybe against CRM to either maybe save Rick, or maybe Rick is in and between both or something, like he's forced to work for the CRM or something like this, or decides to for some reason, or doesn't know who he is, doesn't remember, this type of thing. So I do think this is where everything is kind of leading up towards. The only, which I think it'll be more obvious in the next year or two as we see the Walking Dead TV series wrap up. But I think it'll be kind of obvious as to where, was this kind of always the plan that Gimple and the others kind of had in mind, like this is what we do, this is how we get there. And we set up these two mega groups, Commonwealth in the original Walking Dead TV series, CRM in World Beyond, and also in Fear, we've seen it a lot. And then the original Walking Dead TV series 2, the helicopters are sort of there. We don't exactly get to see their troops come down, but we have some idea they're there. Now we get to see them a lot more in Fear, and we get to see them, entirely in World Beyond, because it's kind of like a CRM series. But yeah, I think that that's where things are heading towards, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was kind of always the plan to wrap up the Walking Dead TV series around this time, with the intention being that we would see the Walking Dead TV series end either in season 11 or 12, whatever it counted to be, or maybe 13, whatever it counted to be, which the year counts got messed up because of the lockdowns, but with bonus episodes and such. But if that was what it originally was meant to be, with the series wrapping up, so that you could take those characters possibly into the movie and use them in a war scenario with the CRM versus the Commonwealth. Now, if that's true, I think that that would be really epic and really amazing to see, because in comparison, the Walking Dead comic book series just kind of fizzles out at that time. When the Commonwealth kind of come in, it just kind of becomes peaceful, and so there isn't too much really to be seen there. There's like a huge time skip and stuff with Carl and with the others. But definitely, I think that this could be sort of, if they do it and they have this in the movie with Rick and the others and everything, I think this would be quite the epic sort of kind of conclusion for Walking Dead. You get to see it all these years and everything, and you get to see kind of a final climactic sort of battle. Now, not everybody was a fan of All Out War in the TV series. Maybe they figured out from All Out War that if you're going to want to do like war stuff and huge action sequences and stuff like this, you kind of have to do it in a movie. Maybe they figured out like it just wasn't feasible to do on a TV series timeline and budget and everything, so maybe it has to be done in a movie so we can see that kind of epic scale be done. So maybe that's where things are shaping up. Leave your comments below about this one. Let me know. We do have a few comments for today to go through. Diana R. said, A's are already bitten and are experimented on. Heath was an A. So that, if Diana's right, and I've heard other people say, similar to the same thing, that Heath is probably already dead. He was probably a test subject, and that's what it was. But I don't think that he was bitten at the time when we kind of saw him go missing, from what we saw. But maybe I'm wrong. That maybe he was and we didn't see it or something. Was an A. B are people that can join the CRM, be military or community can use. So Rick is a B. Yeah, and I think there was some confusion over what Jada had said, and I think she said that he was he was an A, but then I told him he was a B or something like this. Didn't she say something like that in World Beyond? I'm not sure. You guys can still let me know about the A's and B's and what you think about that, because I do think what you're saying is right, Diana, that A is a test subject, which they want. B is somebody who can join and be useful to them. Rick is probably more useful as a B than he is as an A, but if they're able to get him to kind of join everything. And also, we have to consider that Rick and Jada must not have told the CRM about Alexandria. If they did, I imagine, based on what we see in World Beyond, that Alexandria would already be wiped out. So maybe Daryl and the others could have ran, but it's difficult with the numbers the CRM has, the military strategy, the the helicopters and everything, I think we could assume Daryl could probably escape and get out of there, but almost everybody else would be taken. Maybe Rosita or somebody like that could fight their way out, but against the CRM, it'd be difficult not to get captured if they know where you are and they know everything. So Rick and Jada must not have told them about Alexandria in the way that otherwise they would have taken it over, I think, because that seems like that's the CRM's way they do things. Suck my end said Elizabeth knows who Rick is. And yeah, they confirmed outside of the show that she does know Rick, so she knows Jadis. And we see those scenes with her in World Beyond at the end. But she also does know Rick too, and they confirmed that as well. Josh S. said, stop wasting time with the spin-offs and just focus on the Walking Dead movies. Geez, make one of the movie and then we can talk about making spin-offs. Well, I understand what you're saying there, Josh, but World Beyond, and that does give us a lot of insight into the CRM, how it works, things about it and everything. So I feel like that's where they're going. Like, I feel like it's all building up to kind of some epic stuff in the movies. And I think when we eventually get there, even though it'll take a while, it'll probably be worth the wait once it happens. Then we have Melinda who says, maybe Rick was forced to join, but it's been so many years, I can't imagine he wouldn't try to get back to Alexandria eventually. Well, we see Jadis do the same thing, right? It's all those years for Jadis too, and she just works for the CRM. So maybe it's something where Rick and her kind of arrange to where it's like, let's just make the best of this as we can. Don't tell them, and then if you get a chance to, maybe if Rick gets a chance to escape or whatever, he will, or maybe when he gets into a position where he's going to be able to leave, he will. But it's possible they could be keeping him as a prisoner or something like that, and he hasn't been used as a test subject. It's possible. So we just don't know. He could be a prisoner or working for them, one way or the other. But it's good that he didn't give up Alexandria and the rest. Otherwise, they would have already been defeated. Eddie D says, but Jadis knew of the 4 groups. Brother, he is Jen Beale. So I think Eddie thinks that maybe Rick is a general there. I'll keep saying this until proven wrong at the CRM. So thinks that Rick is a general there. Well, some people also brought up the idea that Rick may not know who he is. He may have had amnesia, something like this. So is it possible that Rick has kind of forgotten who he was, doesn't know what's happening, hit his head when the explosion stuff, and so has given them a different name or something? Jadis has given them a name or something, and he doesn't know. That would be very interesting if you had like Daryl and the Commonwealth and everybody else, and Rick was actually leading like the CRM. That would be like he joined the dark side. That would be, because he forgets, that would be quite interesting. And the last one will be from Randy B, who says, Trev, what would happen if the CRM met the Commonwealth? Which one is more powerful? Well, yeah, it's a good question, right? And so I think that's where things are heading towards. I think that's a logical prediction to make, that we're going to see something like that. Now, will it be as epic as is my imagination? Probably not, because my imagination is pretty big, and I want to see like a world war with, different locations and stuff. Be amazing. Rick versus Daryl. He doesn't know who he is, and Daryl defeats him, but then he figures it out, and then Rick remembers who he is. Rick, and then he sees Judith or something, or he something like this would be really awesome. So that's it for the video today, guys. I hope you liked it. Please thumb it up below. Thank you again to everybody for supporting the channel, subscribing. Please subscribe if you haven't. To all the patrons and everything. And I'll see you guys back in soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.